Okay, guys, welcome back to the second part of our Savior's Rewrite. That's right, we're fixing the Savior's Army by Jenna Moreci because she could not be bothered to before she published it. So what we're doing here, this is the second part. We're going to go through very quickly what we did last time. We got to about, I think, chapter 5 before I just hit a wall in terms of energy. This time we have Maria with us. Last time she was sadly
Audio
invisible.
only.
Nobody could see her buried lip. Okay, so I think quick recap from what I can remember. We're going to start with Leila and Tobias shadow walking to try to assassinate Brontes immediately. This solves the question of why didn't they do that to begin with? Why did they insist on gathering an army to go kill Brontes? Makes no sense. When they shadow walk there, though, they find that Brontes has laid a trap for them because he's not stupid. He knew this was going to happen, and he's hired a witch hunter from the Outlands. And this witch hunter has like some cool powers because he like keeps the body parts of witches he's killed and can kind of use them like that. And he like wipes the floor with them and cuts Tobias across the eye, one of the cool vertical ones, in a way that like nicks his eyeball, so it's all bloody and not working. And him and Leila barely get away. And we also find out that Leila's shadow walking is much harder to do to places she's unfamiliar with. So that's why she can't just shadow walk all across everywhere all the time. And there's also kind of more of a cost to it over if she does it over long periods of times.
And also we decided that the witch hunter can kind of track by like
The witch hunter can see through
it
it when she heals it, and that's another method of tracking. Eventually, Tobias will pluck out his eye, out vile jelly for you nerds, literary nerds. You'll get that reference in a moment of sacrifice later. But also, up until that point, Leila's guilty about it and keeps trying to heal it, and that's when the witch hunter can see it. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Yukana and Naomi are terrified. Okay, they can't shadow walk to find Brontes, so one of the next plot threads is like, we gotta find where Brontes is to murder him. That's a thing we're gonna have to go down to. Leila goes into town and finds out that Cosima and Flynn are like fake savior now, and everybody thinks Tobias is shit. Because there was a lot of confusion at the end of the tournament, and this is a pre-modern society without cell phones.
And also because Tobias literally verbally said, I don't want to marry the savior. I love someone else. I forfeit this great honor and will let Flynn marry the savior. And everybody's like, that's real weird to do, buddy. That she's our savior. Everybody should love her.
I am going to copy and paste a few things that are going to come up later that I don't want to forget. So, plucks out his eye. And then Leila had considered not healing the Thessan Shoal to show that Cosima is the fake savior, but she's going to struggle with the moral implications of that. And she's not sure if she will. Delphi shadow walks to them, and it reveals that Pippa got, and all their people got captured. Somebody said that Delphi should do this right in the comments for our last video, right when they finished the Brontes raid, and that's how they knew they were coming. I don't know. I think it works better if it's a little bit more staggered in terms of introducing things to the reader. Though it would kind of make more sense. She pushes for Khovar to send an army. And Leila is more like, that's not a great idea.
Yeah, right. Let's not bring a foreign army onto my land, please. Thanks.
Out vile jelly. Ugly. That's such a beautiful line. I don't know why it's so evocative. Okay, so we also now, soldiers. Tobias is like, you can't slaughter them. They're just people doing their job, and they think they're helping the real savior. So this makes it so that Leila now she can't just fight her way through problems. She needs to think about it, and she understands there's a moral cost. Okay, this is the part that I thought needed more work, because they go to the brothel. But like this, to me, it didn't quite feel like an organic way of moving the story forward. One thing that, before we get there, though, one thing that I had wanted to set up, and somebody in the comments mentioned it, is that the way that Brontes' goal with Leila is actually when the witch hunter showed up, he was going to have her skinned. And then her skin, because that's what makes her magical, would be able to fuel the realm while he's doing conquest, which solves the problem of why is he such a dumbass and why has he kept Leila alive this whole time. And then somebody else had brought up that the thing is that actually he skinned her mother, and that's what he's had all this time. And I think that actually would have been such a cool, and then like it's faded over time, and that's why he needs Layla now. I think that would have been
Oh.
such a cool reveal at the end of Save Your Sister of like, oh
Oh
shit,
yeah.
that's my mother's skin. He's wearing even like the Mayans who would sew themselves into skins or like a Hercules Nemean lion style.
And also maybe that's why he was okay with trying to kill her for a long while, because he didn't realize that the skin
Yeah.
would eventually lose its magic. And then, as he realized the skin, so like maybe the first like 10 years of her life, like up to that point where he actively starts trying to kill her, he thinks he's good, but then he realizes the magic in the skin is fading, and that's when he realizes he can't outright kill her.
I want to upload the comment just very quick because I do want to give this person credit because I hadn't thought of the mother thing. I thought of the other one because I'm really smart, but obviously, as we know, hold on, let me find the comment. Whoever you are, shout out in the comments and I'll heart your comment because I thought it was really cool. It was a good idea, and it's one of the reasons doing these as live streams is cool. Okay, so to control the savior's magic. It's why he was okay with killing Leila as a How do you spell Babito?
Babetio. Babito.
Babito.
Oh no, never mind. You got to take the I out. It's just the O. Babito.
Babito. Babito. But now the skin is fading with power, so he needs the witch hunter to skin Leila while he conquests. Okay. I think that's really good, and that can be a cool reveal that will show up later. But if Layla's mom's skin is fading at this time, like she's 19, wouldn't Layla's skin be at risk in fading in a similar amount of time with no replacement? So this could be something that is unfortunately a bit of a problem with. Well, we could believe that Brontes believes that actually the reason the mother's skin is fading is because Layla's skin is absorbing it,
Absorbing the power.
So hers will be more eternal.
And the other thing is, how you can look at this, because unfortunately, one of the things we agreed on is we wouldn't do any major retcons that changed the fundamental story that was laid out in the first two. So unfortunately, we can't avoid the fact that Brontes is trying to kill Leila at the massive detriment of his entire society. So the idea that he's wants to do that, but he wants to find a way to make it less shitty as long as possible. Kind of like if you think about all the billionaires that will be like, well, I'll have enough money and nice stuff and I can fly wherever I want to. So it doesn't matter if the planet goes to shit because of global warming, because of all of the fossil fuels and non-renewable energy sources. So a little bit of that. But again, in a world where we could rewrite this from the start, in which we did in the first two rewrite videos, Brontes would not be trying to kill Leila. That just wouldn't be a thing that was happening. But we're engaging with this book, trying to fix it as is and trying to maintain what the story is without turning it into something
that's one of the limitations we had set. I probably should have said that at the beginning. But yeah, I think that is a significant, and also it's gross. It's gross and cool and dark.
And so this person, Louvre 192 says maybe he would have reason to believe that it would stain her skin as long as she didn't have a daughter of her own. And that's exactly what I think Will was just trying to get to, that the problem with the mom's skin was that Leila, as a Bebito, was stealing the power of the skin.
Yeah, and it could also be something where they're like, you don't know that for sure. And he's like, well, I'm committed now. The skin is fading. I don't, that could even be the kind of thing where it's like, that is he's a little bit more desperate now because he isn't sure, but this is his motivation. This is the only thing left. He can't now make nice with Leila. Okay, so I wanted to go back to Whores, Lepers, and Tigers, oh my, because I feel like one of the ideas I had wanted to bring up was that when should Leila just decide, okay, I'm going to start a popular movement and when should I stop hiding and when should I start leading a revolution? You know what I mean? It feels like that's the logical step to make even before No, you know what? We can make this work. Because what had happened here is that Delphi takes them to her aunt's brothel. It says her aunt, this is for them to hide and find a place to dock Naomi, her, and Yukana. Isa is Harriet Tubman of Trugolia.
Who saves the slaves?
Harriet Tubman, because non-binary.
Tubman, yeah.
I love making puns, even when.
And I think the other thing here is she must face the fact that she's a religious figure, able to do literal miracles for for poor people and suffering in a way no one in the palace ever were. How much does she owe to the people versus herself? And I think this plus the idea, because we're presented where Delphi pops in and gives her a solution. Khovar will give you an army. They will help you. And she has to go, no, I do not want to invite native or like a foreign army onto my soil for whatever chaos they're going to do. And then everybody goes, okay, so what's your grand plan? And I think that's the point where she goes, or maybe Issa can even be the one, like, you have people here that already have problems with Brontes. You might not know about it, but I do. You owe it to your people to be honest with them about what's happening and let them make a choice for themselves about, sorry, my garage door is opening.
That's so funny. I was like, why is a garage door opening? Ours doesn't work because we're poor. Shout out our Patreon. Join our Patreon so we can have a
join. Okay.
Here, hold on. I liked the way you phrased that. Issa points out that there are already problems in the realm, and how did you put it? You put it really well. There are already problems in the realm, and Leila
owes it to her people to be honest and let them choose.
To her people to choose whether it could be her or Brontes. And I actually think that Leila should have a bad reaction to this. I think Leila should be like, fuck that. I'm the ruler. My way goes. This is not up for debate. And then that can be part of her arc. Because I think by the end of the book, if she's like, you know what, I don't really have, I shouldn't do that, it messes up the auto. I don't really have a right to rule, it is for the people, then I think that would be a good way of kind of fixing that. So hold on.
Yeah.
Whether it should be her or Brontes, Leila reacts poorly. I think there also should be something to the effect that, like, she's been thinking about this as a noble with, like, armies and getting the nobles, and it's like, no, you rule a realm of people. That should be who you think about.
You focus on, exactly. Man, I really love this fleshed out Issa. They're a much, like, a cooler character that works within the bones of what Jenna already had in the novel.
Leila reacts poorly. Has a right to rule, not Brontes. She would be a beneficent, SAT word, ruler, but it is not up for debate. She's the Savior, after all. This begins her arc. Okay, so I actually, you know what? I really like this because what this does is that sorry, I just got a picture of a cat being very, very cute. You guys all on stream are gonna have to wait. Anyway, okay. She's the Savior. This begins her arc of learning what it is to be a good, not ruler per se, but a good person for the land, let's say. Yeah. And I think actually maybe this is what, you know what? I like this. Okay, here's what happens. This is what pushes her to do the army idea that Delphi had. Was she goes, oh, you know what? I'm gonna. No, maybe not. I mean, I theoretically, I like the idea that this is what pushes her into going to do the army route, but it still just makes no sense not to do it.
I think what we may need to rethink this a little bit, and instead phrase it as a, you know, like, you're the savior. Let the people know. Like Brontes has presented a fake savior. You're the real savior. Let the people know and let them decide the actions they're going to take with that knowledge. And we can use the arc of her going from I'm the savior, I'm the queen, and kind of have
Here's
that kick off
another
in
way.
a different direction.
Here's another way we could do this: is we can move this point of this like real talk with Isa, I don't know, backward, and we'll have it so that she starts this revolution, right? This revolution, and it gets and it's gaining momentum, and then Brontes has a big battle with them, and it's like the soldiers are good people and her people are good people, and there's a slaughter, and it's ugly. And then and then Issa has a real talk with her about like, hey, you don't have a right to do this necessarily, and that puts you should go to the people about this maybe more, and not necessarily. I don't know.
No, because she
I
did
think
go
there's
to
a
the
way
people. Yeah,
but I feel like, okay, no, you're correct, but I feel like there could be, I feel like her initial uprising should be crushed.
How about this? Let's
Okay.
change it where she's pro Kavarian army because she is thinking about this as a novel. And then later, like, and the entire time Issa's like, talk to your people, let them help you. Don't bring an an army in, like, and then she has to reckon with, and then eventually learning and seeing that some of the soldiers, when they're shown that she is the right savior, like let's say she does get the Kavarian army in, they do have a battle, a bunch of the saviors, but they see her like a bunch of she comes out head of the
No,
the
you're right.
Kavarian army,
You're totally right.
shining, using her magic, and a bunch of her the soldiers on the other side stop. They're like, oh my god, that's the savior, there she is, and they stop fighting, and then the Kavarians slaughter them, and in that moment she realizes how much she's fucked up.
No, I like that. That's much better. That's much better.
Yeah, it's cleaner,
okay.
and it narratively I think it works better.
Okay, Leila prepares this. Okay, this drives a bit of wedge. Delphigon, Leila.
So she does not balk at the idea. She's pro the idea. And this whole time, Issa's like, just talk to your people. Your people will, and Tobias has already had the scene where he's like, we can't just be killing soldiers. They're innocents. And then have Issa being like, give the soldiers a choice of who they're fighting for. And Layla's like, no, it'll never work. They'll never choose me. Brontes has them too brainwashed, this is how. And again, I love the idea of her thinking about this as a noble and somebody who has only ever looked at something from the bird's eye view down, instead of like as like understanding the power of the people.
Yeah, aristocracy and armies. I like that too a lot. Okay, and thinks they're saving the savior, so we'll have this be like, Leila is confused and insists that killing the soldiers is bad, maybe, but necessary. Starts a sunk cost
fallacy. Ooh, beautiful.
This also puts her into conflict with Tobias. So
Yes.
One of the things is that throughout the entire first book or two, she's constantly like, oh no, what will Tobias think, that I'm a murder muffin? And that's not the term. There's something like that term that she uses, like a cinnamon roll murderer. I don't know. Anyway, and this actually would be a good way of showing it. In the abstract, yes, she killed people. Tobias doesn't mind. He didn't see them. But now he sees that, oh, you're trying to just murder people all the time. That's a weird way to solve your problems, yep. Leila. This whole picture in Tobias.
I also like this because it means we can still have they need to get to Khovar, but it brings that up way, like we can get rid of so much of the book because we now know we're going to Khovar, we're getting the army, and then we can put the like as a kind of 3/4 of the way through the book is when the first battle with Khovar and Thesson happens, and then that last fourth is her realizing, oh no, I did this wrong, and then her having to fix it.
Yes, I like that. That creates a much better dramatic arc and a moment of the dark soul of the dark part of the soul or whatever. She only knows how to solve problems with violence.
Yep. And that's established. Layla herself talks about that.
Yeah, and the darkness within her dark. But the thing is, in the book, this is just mentioned in the death competition right at the end. Like, that's it.
Yep. And I think this will work because then the climax is, instead of a battle, it's the people coming over to her side, and thus kicking off what would be the fourth book, which is the people now having come over to her, supporting her, and rebelling in at United, and a lot of the soldiers that were just normal Thessan people going over to her, and now it's her Thessan army versus Brontes' paid sellsword
also
army.
Bringing in a foreign army to invade your country would help Brontes unify his forces.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And exactly, this needs to be one of those moments where, like, the main character is so single focused on something that they don't understand the ramifications of it at all, and then when they do and they realize it, and then they have to fix it, which is, number one, it's a strong, tried and true character arc. And then I love the idea of the final, like, in the next book, it being the smaller stakes, or not the smaller stakes, but the smaller forces of Brontes and just his sellswords versus her and the actual Thessan people. And she insults the Khovarian queen, and Khovar just fucks off.
Or even could switch to Brontes.
Yeah.
That also could happen, because that's a thing that happens with sellsword armies sometimes. And that's essentially what she would be using. But another thing I wanted to mention is that we had set it up so that in the frame story, after the events of the book, Tobias is captured by Cosima and Flynn. And what I like is that throughout the book, him and Leila are beginning to split along this violence idea, right? And so in the frame story, we're like, oh, what was the divide that happened between them now that him and her aren't getting along? And so there's actual ambiguity as to what happened to get him to this point, instead of it's very clearly that she's going to come save him. I think that would be kind of interesting.
And it also works better romantically because, like, again, one of the big complaints we had looking at the book was the fact that, like, Leila and Tobias's romantic arc was ready for fun, sexy times, but the book itself was not at all prepared for fun, sexy times. And so in that way, this book would by far be much darker than the first two.
Yeah.
Because we would be playing with legit character, like, tension, problems between them, having to overcome that, loving each other but having issues and all of that jazz, and then him still also having to trust, is she going, like, how is this going to work? Like, that I think that just works well. There was a couple of
there's been some good comments. Please leave them. If you guys want to hear, by the way, if anybody in the comments wants to hear maybe like a British accent just to tell you some of the plot, please say that in the comments, because Maria will not
die.
Okay, so some good ideas. Brontes could easily use nationalism, patriotism to rally the common folk against Leila. How about Khovarians just trying to get her to use their hands on Thessan? She'd be a vassal queen for Khovar. And what if Leila tries to get the Khovar to stop fighting, but they won't because the queen actually wants to conquer them? That could become a three-way war. That would be kind of cool.
Yep.
Look, the savior is bringing a foreign army. Here are all the terrible things they will do. Will you allow them themselves to be broken beneath them? Fight for your land. I really like that idea. I think that's a really good idea. I think maybe what should happen is that Delphi brings Enzo with her.
Oh.
So Shadow walks to them with Enzo. Enzo says that Khovar would be ammo. Yeah, so then this becomes Enzo. So says that, which he says that Khovar would be amicable to sending them an army. Sorry, I'm moving these around a little bit. Okay, so this is just we're gonna. So she should heal some people, I think, because I liked the leper knight, which if you guys don't remember, he's a guy who has leprosy, who she goes and heals a bunch of the lepers who like have a little bit, but he can't be all the way there. He wears a cool mask though, and he's still a fighter, and he sees her as a god, and she's like a little uncomfortable with it, but I think he will be a good contrast to Tobias and Raphael. Well, no, Raphael isn't in this one. To Tobias, who doesn't necessarily see her as a god, and so she could be almost not a romantic foil, but a foil in how she's viewed.
And the discomfort she has with it, but how she appreciates the loyalty of, you know, support for all of her ideas and stuff like that comes with it, versus Tobias, who sees her as a person and thus actively does challenge her. And like, you know, the comfort of having someone, because like a part of, I imagine, would be the chip on Layla's soldier is she's never actually treated like a queen or the savior within the walls of the castle. So now getting a taste of that, and, you know, getting an army, having people like actually respect and worship her, that might go to her head a little bit, in just the sense that it might feel like she might not like it initially, but there is a comfort in people just being like, yes, that was a great idea, and just agreeing with her, versus having, it's kind of the difference between having an AI boyfriend and having an actual boyfriend who might disagree with, no, seriously, AI boyfriends, AI partners, not just boyfriends, will agree with you with everything, just like somebody who worships you as a religious figure might, versus somebody who doesn't see you that way and will actively disagree with you and challenge you. And that is a, you know, a harder thing to process.
Yeah, I'm writing that down because I think I think initially, you know, Mercy had that very dumb, or not dumb, but just middle school theme in the first book of like, oh, I'm not a god, I'm just a chick standing in front of a window. And so this would be, so we initially have to have her be like, no, I'm not a god, but you know what, I am a queen. And so, and I actually kind of like this guy as a character. I think he would be interesting because he has a reason for being so zealous. And it's like, she literally took away his pain. How could she not be a god? How could what she does not be good for the land?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leper dude is her chat GPT. Exactly. So while you type that out, Michael Ramon says, could Khovar demand that the Savior bless their lands too? So this, I think, should come into play where maybe they want it, but she can't. Like, she is physically tied to Thesson and cannot use, I think it would be interesting if she cannot use her magic outside of Thesson. So because like there's that whole point where she tries to get she tries to have Enzo, and it's really dumb overall, so we have to find a way that makes it work. She tries to give her gift to Enzo so he can boop them into Khovar, but it doesn't work. And I theorize maybe it's because he's not Thesson. But then that brings into the like, does the magic of Thesson and worlds honor birthright naturalization? like how does the land of Thesson decide if you're Thesson? Do you have to have lived there for like a certain amount of time? Do you have to call yourself Thesson?
Is this a racial thing?
Is it racial? Is it like spiritual? Do you have to believe in the like? What is the thing that makes it so?
So I think that should be what they do. Sorry, go ahead.
I think what it should be is that she physically cannot use her magic outside of Thesson. Similarly, like one of the things that would happen is she cannot like shadow walk from Thesson to Khovar to Trigolia, and once she's in those places, she cannot shadow walk. Like she can't shadow walk back. It only works on Thesson soil. Off Thesson soil, bitch ain't magic anymore.
Okay, what if Leila knows she can't bless Khovar, but she lies to the Khovarian queen to get her army, and this ultimately backfires horrifically? Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Can I just copy and paste it? No, I can't copy and paste it.
Yeah, and the Duchess of Summer says it ties into this divine right thing. The divine figure in this world set out for the specific parcel of land for them, and the magic only works here.
Make Khovar fertile. She's lying. Khovar Queen is pissed off later, and one of the reasons she plunders Thesson. Because I like the idea that, like, you know, they're a cool warrior culture, but like maybe that's just because they don't have a lot of good farmland, really speaking. And so, like, you know, the queen wants a different way for them to be able to have, you know, these big things. And if she could do that to Khovar, that would be great for her. You know, they wouldn't necessarily have to go to war. They could keep their warrior whateverness, but they wouldn't have to starve. And then when the Khovarians show up, and then when she lies, she's like, well, fuck that then. We're going to plunder Thesson. We're going to take some Thesson land for our own. And then that kind of becomes somewhat Leila's problem.
Also, the Duchess of Summer asked, do they all worship the same deity? No. The different countries have different deities. And that's part of it is, I don't know, like, do they all acknowledge the same one god? Because they do say, oh my god, a lot. Is Thesson's god the same as Tregolia's? No clue. But I would assume not. Because, like, in Khovar, they don't have a god or, like, deity-based religion. Their religion is their warrior culture,
which is incredibly stupid. It's
not
how religions work.
So they don't, and yeah, but also we don't know because Marussi never explains it to us.
Okay, so healing the lepers draws Brontes' gaze before they have a full plan, and the Witch Hunter and a bunch of soldiers show up for an action. See? Again, the Witch Hunter herb stomps everyone. Warhammer style. Not gonna say more about that. We're bringing some Warhammer into this. I like the idea that they try to escape with Enzo, but this is when they realize that, like, oh, this doesn't quite work because he's definitely never been where that whole idea we had of, like, it's only easy for her to go to places she's already been suddenly really goes wrong, and she pushes it and they kind of get stuck, like, they materialize in, like, somewhere where they don't know where, you know, like that kind of a thing. Like they do like a hyperspace jump at the last minute, but they don't know where they're going to go kind of thing. And they end up, like, you know, one of them probably ends up like half in a rock or something like that. I think that, we should have that. Leper Knight materializes with his hand infused in a stone. He cuts it off. How are we going to get out of that? Because he cuts it off, though, because he's a real one.
No.
What do you mean, no? That's such a cool idea.
Ah.
What? No. What's your problem?
No. Listen, I'm okay with them being in a weird place, but I don't think anybody's gonna be in a rock. Like, there's been nothing within the scope of the world that shows me rock fusing.
No. Okay. So, but what I'm thinking is she's really pushing herself. The way she does this is like, oh, this is not working at all. Like, I'm pushing. I mean, choose your sex metaphor. It's something into something that doesn't fit. And like, it's...
Is it because she's trying to take too many people?
No, it's because she's trying to use Enzo's connection to Khovar, but she's really never been to Khovar, and Enzo hasn't even been in Thesson that long. So it's something where she's really pushing her magic past the point where...
Okay, so instead of it being Enzo, because how it currently works, and so I just want to understand if we're changing this so I know going forward. How it currently works is she doesn't use her magic. She just gives it to someone else and then they have to do it. And for Enzo, it just never worked. There was no...
Right, but in this case, it kind of works, but it's something where, like, her magic usually, again, functions like an AI where it knows where to drop her off. But in this case, she's pushing it past the ability where it can really do that. So it's almost like dematerializing and rematerializing them.
So she's actively using her energy at the same time that Enzo is trying to.
Yes, she feels that it's not working, but she feels a connection between her and Enzo, like a magic tether, and
Okay.
she pushes all the way through that because they need to get out of there in time. And that's and that's kind of what happens. I like the idea that conceptually what her magic is that it's like a teleporter, but it's kind of governed by but like that's the basic thing it does, but it is also more complicated. It's kind of like a car where like there's a bunch of things built around the engine, but the engine fundamentally moves forward. So what she's doing is she's stripping off all the things it does, like the navigation, the GPS, and it's just the engine pushing them through, but it pushes through in a way where he doesn't, he gets fused. But he's a badass. He'll be okay.
Okay.
He's a real one. Yeah, Leper Knight clips materializes with his hand fused in a stone. He cuts it off though because he's a real one. Okay, so here's one problem though. Naomi and Yukana now can't stay at the brothel because the witch hunter found them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, we could leave it that way.
What if the witch hunter doesn't actually get them there, but when they are on their way, like they've gone to a separate, like, who's to say that Issa is keeping them all at the brothel at this point and not had them go somewhere else because of their
Yes, okay.
She's very obviously a sparkly savior lady. If I was Issa, even in support of them, I wouldn't keep them there. I would separate them out. Again, it's easy to hide two people in a brothel, but hiding the savior and all of the savior's like retinue.
I also like the idea that what happens is she's pushing her ability so much it's actually kind of creating a tunnel, like a wormhole tunnel between the two places. And so the witch hunter actually follows them through it. And so you have an action scene where they're jumping from spot to spot and he's kind of following them through it. And that's part of why things are getting so weird. I think that would just be kind of like fun.
Yeah.
Are you monitoring the comments? Because I haven't been.
I will look at it. What if the witch hunter finds the blood from the knight cutting his hand off and uses it to track them? Sorry, wait. I'm going back. It turns out the savior's magic was actually causing the leper. Wait. Nope, not sure. Sorry, I'm trying to follow there's been a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is, I don't think we will do something like this, but this is a cool idea. Weird Charlie said, Duchess of Summer, I like that. So she couldn't bless the land in Khovar, but she could be that battle goddess. Like her magic would shift according to what aspect of the main deity is ruling each land. And not that that's something that is a cool idea. I don't think it's going to fit in here. Honestly, I don't want to spend a lot of time in Khovar. I want to get in, get out.
Get in there and get out.
Yeah. So yeah, I like the idea of she is of Thesson. This is essentially a breach of the divine right to rule if she can take on the divine properties of the land of Khovar versus being just of Thesson. So I like the idea of whatever power she has, whatever any of that she only has and can do within Thesson. I mean, maybe she can do like small jumps within other places, but she can't give her magic to other people. Like in Khovar, she can't give other people her magic. She can't bless the earth there, like fundamentally.
Yeah, she's real weakened. I think here's what happened. Leper Knight, his hand gets trapped, and then he asks her to cut it off as like an honor.
Oh my god.
Because it's a cool way of being maimed. He asks her to cut it off because if he is to be maimed from her, it will be a blessing. I like that. Honestly, Leper Knight's turning out to be pretty cool. Maybe my favorite character. Okay. Okay, where should they have ended up? Somewhere between them and Khovar.
Yeah,
Um,
but still within Thassan.
right. We should have one more incident before they get to Khovar. What are the themes we're trying to play with? So the themes we're trying to play with is that Tobias and Leila have different views on violence.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Leila needs to understand who she is. So the arc she's going to go through is not feeling like a goddess or ruler, and through her interactions with other people, getting too high on her own supply of being a goddess and ruler, and then having to come down from that and realizing, no, I have a duty to the people because of my power, but I do not have the like ruling is something completely separate from that.
so maybe they need to run into like smugglers who don't smoke cocaine or slavers, but are very like, fuck the savior. What does she really do? I don't care about her tax policies, like that kind of a thing. Where she's like, and inwardly she'd be like, those fucking idiots. But it starts exposing her to the idea that like, oh, other people may not care necessarily.
Yeah.
Um, or another way we could do this if we wanted to get to Khovar faster is that they eventually get all the way to Khovar in those final series of jumps, and that's why the witch hunter eventually backs off, is because they've gotten
How
to
are they
Khovar.
still jumping to Khovar?
What do you mean?
I Oh, sorry, I forgot. You're working off different jumping logic than sorry. I was still okay, never mind. I'm back in.
You're back in. They eventually, I think maybe let's just do that, and if we wanted to we could have this, if we find that there's a moment we want to explore more, we could do it here. In Khovar. They eventually land in Khovar, and that's the witch hunter backs off. But now, Brontes will know she's in Khovar, because that's why he can kind of build up his army to kind of save them, maybe. Leper Knight, I will still have this part because I think it's cool. No. Oh, no. Here's what we do. The queen is like, he's going to cut off his arm, and the queen goes, no. You are the savior. You should do this for him. And so it's like it's like kind of a sickly sweet thing, or not.
Wait. So
like
they when the Khovarian queen is there when his hand is stuck in the rock. So where did they manifest then that the Khovarian queen is there?
In the Khovarian throne room, clips into a wall with his hand fused in stone. Enzo is about to cut it off with his why my keyboard has too much stuff in it. His consent, but Khovarian queen orders him not to. Says the savior should be the one to do it. Leper Knight says it would be an honor. Further makes Leila is grossed out, but that it's the thing. It's the sunk cost thing where like, oh, maybe I'm not the savior. To have done this thing, she kind of has to believe, like, oh, you know what? Maybe that is true in some senses, that it is an honor for him for this to happen. But kinda buys into the idea because of sunk cost. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
What's a funny title for that? It could be like into Khovar.
Does anyone need a hand getting to Khovar?
Oh.
Do you need a hand getting to Khovar?
No, need a hand. There we go. And the answer is yes. Okay. Oh, be an honor. And that Leila cannot afford to look weak. Maybe Tobias is like, look, maybe we can chip it off over time. You know what I mean? Like his arm is fused there, but it's not necessarily gone. And Tobias could be like,
can we just get a
yes.
stonemason and can we just chisel his arm out of there? Like there's got to be a different way to do this. Like, because that was my first thought is why are we not stoned? Because like if I was the queen of Khovar, I would be like, I do not need a hand rotting in my wall.
First of all, that would be fucking dope. First of all,
no, it would not be.
The thing about it is, if he clips in, it should be immediately like, gone, like cut from the rest of his arm, kind of a thing. But okay, hold on. They try to get someone to chip it out. But the Khovarian queen halts them. Maybe it was a god statue, so like they can't destroy it.
Oh yeah, that would work better.
She be destroyed. Tobias destroyed. She orders. Go ahead and check the comments.
Okay. So are her Marrowcat asks, so are her powers weakened or limited there, being Khovar? Maybe her literally bringing Earth from the homeland is a thing. Oh, so she can still do her magic. And then Duchess of Samar said, I do not think the Earth itself is magic, but the place. And then we have a lot of hand puns.
Good.
Blue Jay 2206 says, I guess you could say Leila has her hands full. And then we have Henrique Cordial says, leper knight with a stone brick for a hand, like a mace.
I mean, it would be pretty cool. Okay, so it can't be destroyed. She says the arm must be cut off. I like the idea, because the thing is, I like the idea that the leper knight is the one to be like, no, if I'm going to lose an arm, I want to lose it to the savior.
Yeah. It would be an honor.
Drives a deeper wedge between her and Tobias. And I also like the idea of that this is kind of something where neither of them is exactly right. Tobias and Leila, they are both kind of correct in that Leila needs the Khovarian queen's respect to do this, right? Mm-hmm. She can't like fuck up a statue of theirs, and she needs the Khovarian queen to think she's tough. And Tobias is like, well, fuck that. This guy has fought for you. It's not okay to do this. Like, it's not. And so the thing about it is that the leper knight consents to it, which is the easy way out, right? But that's okay to do as we're building up to more difficult challenges. And the thing is, he is okay with consenting to it, and that creates more of a sunk cost. So she has to believe that his reasons for consenting to it were okay. Poor
Max
leper
is
knight.
in the chat really quick and says, can she not heal him? So one of the things we're working with is that in Khovar, her magic is weaker in general. But number two, and most importantly, she can't.
This isn't
An
Deadpool. She
established
can't
thing.
regrow an arm.
Yeah, she can't regrow the arm. She can heal, but she can't regrow. And so in this case, his hand, and I don't know if you saw this, Max, his hand is literally stuck in a rock statue. Like they had a bit of a teleportation accident.
If only we knew a
Knew a
sculptor.
sculptor.
So one thing actually I think would be kind of interesting. We won't change it here, but if the leper knight was a woman, I think that'd be kind of cool. That would even out some of the gender in the 5-man group right now. Because okay, so do we want Delphi to be with them? I kind of feel like okay, Delphi's with them. Okay.
Yeah.
The gang at this point is Leila, Tobias, Enzo, Leper Knight, and
I always thought it
Delphi.
made no sense for Delphi not to be there. Delphi's her right-hand man.
It's real weird. I think, well, she has to be now that the Leper Knight doesn't have one.
I'm dead.
I think the thing with Delphi is that I don't think, I think Moresi knows women are supposed to have friends, but I don't think she actually, like, wants to write it. Okay. All right. So we've gone through like a chapter, but I think we're doing good here. Okay. So, some broad strokes is that, Leila, Leila gets, the Khovarian. What is her name? Because it's getting real tiring to just keep putting Khovarian queen on her side by promising to make Khovar fertile.
And that's because it was a comment in the chat a while ago where somebody said, I still don't understand why the Khovarian queen, even if Leila wins that like tournament thing, is just going to give her an army, no expectation of something in return, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, she is getting something in return.
Queen will be pissed off later, and one of the reasons she plunders Thesson and annexes some of it. Okay, so we will do now. What are we on? Chapter. By the way, this is chapter 6. Like, this is such a better pacing for the book. Like of shit actually happening. Khovarian diplomacy. That's not how you spell diplomacy. That is how you spell diplomacy. Okay. No, you know what it should be?
Tis but a scratch.
It's just a flesh wound. Okay, let's see.
So Weird Charlie asks, is there an explanation for why nobody really understands how the Savior's magic works? In universe, the excuse, like in the book, the excuse given is that Layla's mother died when she was born, and the secrets of the Savior's magic is passed down Savior to Savior by word of mouth. And none of these bitches at any point have been writing shit down for future reference. And
also, not learning sign language so they can talk to each other in mirrors once they're dead, which canonically can happen.
Yeah. So we just don't, like, that's the thing given. And I think you want to believe that Moresi understands the full extent of the powers, and I'm sure she does have her own like set of rules and stuff. Unfortunately, we just don't know any of it. And so we're kind of just adding things and like limitations and stuff as they're coming up. But I don't know. Again, her mom died. Who knows?
Yeah, it's one of these things where, unfortunately, I think we have to keep it to more or less, unless there's some kind of really interesting thing, we're just gonna kind of try to keep it somewhat vague. We don't need this. I'm putting up. I'm getting tired.
So I actually have a note. I just had a thought, and I
Okay.
think that she needs to have at least one more interaction with random Thessian normal people before she gets to Khovar. Hear me out.
Okay,
Uh,
hit me.
the idea of, they do this battle, it goes terribly. She realizes the cost for the common people needs to have more weight, and right now we've only really had interactions with one group of common people, being Issa and the people in the brothel in that one town. And I think she needs, and most of that has been facilitated by Issa being the person directing everything. And they still haven't interacted, and I think there needs to be another point in the book where she's interacting and learning about her people, and where they treat her like a queen or a savior. Again, feeding into that flame of her beginning to like the idea of being a queen and a savior and that kind of stuff. Just because right now we have, she heals lepers and interacts with Issa, and that's it. And then we're straight at Khovar, and then the next plot beat after Khovar is,
You're right.
I mean,
You're right. I think maybe what we could do is we could expand the leper colony part to like, oh, this makes the whole town realize she's the savior, and they're there for a little bit longer, and she starts interacting with her people more,
yeah,
and that's where we could get that
satisfy.
interaction.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
because she just needs to have more interaction with people, and I don't love the idea of her spending too much time in one place, but we do need her to be interacting with people and almost to have like an unintended uh people's turning of the people, where she's not actually
mhm.
trying to do it, but it's just happening, and then later when she feels like she betrayed all the people who believed in her, she realizes, oh, Issa was right, they told me, and I just didn't it, and it was already happening and I didn't realize it. And it gives it just like helps solidify that kind of arc. And it also feeds into her, like, she gets a little bit arrogant about being the savior and the queen, and how nice that feels, but also that she then has a responsibility to people that she isn't taking into account.
Yeah, I think that's a really good. I think that's a really good note. So we could just like human stakes are created, and so this would
Yes,
just
that's where
be
we
a
want the human
longer.
stakes. Like, she meets some kids, and maybe there's a baker, and she really likes her baked goods, and the baker's like, "Here, you can have them all for free."
This
Oh,
is also the
Senor?
point actually where you could have like a sex scene between her and Tobias that's happy because
Yeah,
they're in a moment of like, oh, things are going right. I am the savior. My people love me. I'm doing stuff.
exactly.
I'm shining
Hmm.
in public.
Yep.
Okay, so then, and then that's also that makes okay. So that makes this part makes sense. Leila, Tobias, Enzo, Leper Knight, and Delphi. Okay.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go get my water bottle. You do stuff. I trust you. You're creative.
Oof, 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 guys. She trusts me. I don't know if that's good. I'm trying to set these up so that I can have these later. Queen. Queen realizes Leila lied about making Khovar fertile, and it is one of the reasons she plunders Thesson and annexes some of it. Uh, so I think they should be able to teleport halfway to Khovar. Maybe Leila gets tired after such a distance. Either she has to rest for a few days, or they have to walk, talk, smuggler boats the rest of the way. So I thought about that. And I think that makes sense. Again, I think there could be a scene there with like smugglers where she realizes, oh no, some people don't think the savior is anything. Like, I need to prove myself. I don't have a divine right to rule. But also, I really like the fused stone thing. I think that's super cool. And maybe that would be the other thing is we can't use the witch hunter too many times. We've now used him twice, so there can only be in terms of rules of thirds, there can only really be one more confrontation. Uh, Will Cosima is now the main character. Hey, look, I can fix her. I can fix her. The English are coming. Well, you guys make a good point that perhaps this is a moment where the British could do something interesting. The Queen realizes. Oh, maybe. Okay, we could. Okay. How about we do chapter five, smuggler interlude, where they try to jump.
I've returned.
Okay, so I think there should be okay. So hear me out. Okay, I think what should happen is that we will kind of break this up. It's just a flesh wound into two parts because I think there should be a smuggler interlude where there's a bunch of smugglers saying like, "Oh, what point does Leila have in ruling? You know what I mean? Like, what is she ain't shit. Savior is just a distant figure on a throne. Yeah, she's a battery, but that doesn't mean she's the
Do
best.
they have to be smugglers? Can they just be like merchants?
Okay, merchant
from another land? I'm just asking, like, unless there's it's specific, because like I think this is a good point, and it is something that she needs to reckon with and hear. But I don't. Does it like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the gang must travel with some merchants to get to Khovar on foot. The merchants don't really think the savior has a divine right to rule. Leila bristles at this.
They're the equivalent of libertarians.
Some libertarian.
Will, what is this
merchants?
I hear that you did your weird British accent again while I was gone?
I'm a fishman. You don't understand.
Fishman.
Stay silent. Tobias kind of thinks they have a point. Maybe has never really thought about politics till
and this ties
now.
into his irreverence of the savior in book 1 too, you know.
Libertad fraternitad. What was it? It's Libertad fraternitad something else tad.
I have no idea what you're referencing, so
the French during the revolution, they were like Libertad fraternitad something else a tad. To his initial disinterest in the savior in book 1. I think that makes so much sense because you know what? That's true. He did not give a shit about the savior.
He did not. He was like, why would people want to die to marry this bitch? Who is this bitch? Which again, we explained away in our rewrite because it's dumb for him to think that. But in this, we must work within the worlds and things set up in the first 2 books. So here we are.
Mm-hmm.
We're tying it in, baby.
Mark. But
liberté, égalité, fraternité.
Okay, how would I spell that? Can you put it on screen so I can do it?
Okay, got it. I'm coming. Give me 1 second.
I'm not going to be doing accent marks because, again, I don't know. Liberté, égalité,
just copy it.
I can't. I can't do that on here for whatever reason.
Oh.
It shows up as like an image. This ties into his initial disinterest in the book 1, and they're flung into somewhere random. They decide it's too. You can take the thing down now. Dangerous to try and shadow walk again. Must go on foot. Okay, the gang.
Wait, so what's happening with the flesh wound part?
Oh, I got this. Don't worry.
I was like, where are we? What has happened?
This is why initially I wasn't gonna do this, but this is.
I think it should be. Listen, I wasn't pro smugglers because it's just such a weird thing. But I love a merchant interlude, seeing people from other nations who are successful have opinions. You know, and that might be wrong, but they're coming from respectable mouths.
So what happens though is through his magic, so the witch hunter was able to track them to the leper colony because a lot of people talked about it, and because it was such a screwed up warp jump, he is able to follow through the tunnel to her. Okay. And the witch hunter, I don't know. The witch hunter shows up, and the witch hunter was able to use the tunnel carved in reality by the screwed up shadow walk to follow them. Fight style. Again, the witch hunter starts to curb stomp everyone.
So
maybe
it's
he
not
also
the
has,
witch hunter's POV, Max. It's just like what is happening. Ugh.
maybe he has one of Brontes's like elite warriors with him, and when he has to escape in Khovar, he isn't able to bring the soldier back. So then we can have a moment where like Leila interrogates this soldier and gets more of a view. Yeah, okay, I like that. Starts to curb stomp everyone.
Sorry, I'm squishing a cat. I got a cat in my lap, and he likes when you
Leila forces another jump to Khovar to escape. This time it really fucks up. Up. And this could be another moment where Tobias was like, "Don't do it, Leila," and she does it, kind of a thing. I think okay. I think we can get rid of this. They land in the Khovarian throne room. With one of Brontes' elite guard now captured. What was the Roman elite guard called, guys? Oh, what is one over Brontes' Praetorians?
Yeah.
Now captured. Now captured. Leper Knight clips in the. Okay, so then that's how we create a little bit more world building, a little bit more of Leila's themes. I like this because now Tobias is politically activated, so to speak. He's beginning to think about these issues, and it could again be a thing where she's like, "Wait, they don't have a point," and he's like, "Well, they kind of do."
Yeah.
And then they can like make out, but there's now a distance between them. It's just a flesh wound, Khovarian diplomacy. Though she knows she can't. Tobias is leery now that he's seen Khovar, that the Khovarians will not treat Thessin well, and they also look real barbaric, which Thessins might not like. And Leila will look like foreign conqueror.
So I also had another thought, which is on top of, Leila needing to come to terms with the fact that, she is a savior and a queen and feeling bitter about not being treated that way most of her life and then getting treated like that now and kind of letting it get to her head. We also have Tobias, who is coming to terms with the fact that on top of everything that he's dealt with, he is expected to eventually be
you're right. Yes, he has to be thinking about that.
Sovereign, and exactly. So he has to be thinking about this and what he wants. And I think the two of them should eventually converge on the idea, but I think part of the tension between them is that he comes to the idea that Thesson shouldn't actually be ruled that way much earlier than she does, and that he doesn't act like he wants to be with Leila, but he doesn't actually want to be the sovereign. Sovereign. How do you say that word?
Sovereign.
Sovereign. He just, like he wants. So someone, I think it was Marrow Cat, put something about just wanting to fuck off and go be two people in love and like go like the fantasy of.
Yeah.
And that should
he
be
never
what
wanted
Tobias,
this anyway. Yeah,
that should be what Tobias wants. And like a lot of like this whole time, as much as he's supporting her, he kind of sees the option of like like when we save them, what is the end result, and just having tension about what he wants or not. And I saw, because the thing is, there is potentially good character growth to be had for both of these people. In our first video, we talked a lot about, the delicious intrigues of Cosima, Raphael, and Flynn that we have in the frame story that's happening. But within this, and leading to the Tobias that is then interacting with Cosima, Raphael, and Flynn, is his conflict about what it means to be a ruler, because what we should have is the common people, start treating him like he's the sovereign, because he essentially is, especially if they do the whole let's show that we are bound together and we're going to get married eventually, that whole promising to each other with the red stuff. And so as people treat him differently, he doesn't like it. Where Leila begins to appreciate this thing that she's been denied her whole life, Tobias never expected it, never wanted it, and for him it falls really wrong, and he doesn't love it. And so that should be something, because we focused a lot on like Layla's arc, but we gotta give our boy one too.
Yeah, right now he's mostly just a contrast to Leila. Henry, there was a comment saying that we should see some foreshadowing of the Khovarian barbarity in their drinking songs, being all about like, hey, let's slaughter and assault people. And I think that could lead to a scene of hilarity where Enzo forces Tobias to go drinking with him, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
That would be funny. I think also back in the merchant interlude, there could be some foreshadowing of them being like, Enzo's like a rabid dog. Like, you don't understand what Khovarians are like because you're a Thessian. Thessian is always at peace. We've had to deal with Khovarians before. And that could be like another like, oh, maybe that's interesting. That'll set up for something interesting. I think Leila should, I don't mean to just blank all of what you said, but like my brain wasn't quite working entirely. So if we can add that in as we go, that would be good.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, I didn't mean to ignore you is what I meant.
Yeah, no, you're all good. I also think we should have a moment between Leila and the Queen. Like, Enzo takes him to go drink, and Leila bonds with the Queen, and the Queen's kind of talking about, her responsibility to her people, and she likes the respect she gets from this woman. And like maybe they have like a hot spring bath type thing. Listen, Will, stop.
No. Go ahead.
And the two of them like discuss it, and how you have to deal with when you're challenged, how do you deal with that? And like there's this bonding moment, and part of this is the Khovarian Queen also talking about her hope for her people, where if she can make them if she can give them a life that's a little bit more fruitful, and also from the point of view of like, I want them to have a more fruitful life, but also if we have more fertility in our land, it makes us a stronger army, baby. The armies that win are the best fed ones. And so like kind of having that discussion, and then Leila hearing that, not like registering it, but I like the idea of these two women having like a bonding moment. They've like maybe after they struck the deal of I'll heal your stuff, you'll give me your army, the Queen is like, yes, now we must seal this deal in the classic style of the Khovarian nobility. We're going to a bathhouse, baby,
That's so funny.
Yeah.
You're totally right. That's such a good idea.
Thank you. Oh, and I like this. The Khovarian Queen could be a mix of good advice mentor and bad values mentor.
That would be good.
Yeah, and Yeah.
go
And
ahead.
then maybe at some point the Tobias says something to her and she's like, the Khovarian queen, like whatever her name is, would never let somebody speak to her that way. And then Tobias is like, well, maybe she should, bro.
Sorry, say that again.
Maybe at some point in an argument, at some point,
Uh-huh.
Tobias says something to her and she snaps back with, because she's defensive about her idea, the Khovarian queen would never let someone talk to her that way. And
Ah.
Tobias hits back with, maybe she should. And it's a beginning of that like the calcification of the tensions between them. Sorry guys, I'm sitting really weird because I have a cat in my lap, so I'm having to hold my mic, which is really heavy, so that you guys can hear me. And he's not like a nice cat, he's a dick. So if I move,
That's Data. Don't say that. I love Data.
he is a dick. You know this. We all know this.
I love Data. Shush.
Is that a baby or boy?
Okay. Leila interrogates Praetorian, is puzzled by the lies he's been told. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. We're at about an hour and 45, and my energy is beginning to dip again, but I also don't want to do this again because I'm tired. Like,
okay, let's do 20 minutes overarching plot.
Yeah, let's just because beats. We're gonna do part of it is I'm busy all next weekend, so we really can't. It would be like 2 weeks before we did this. Again, this won't do that great on the channel. I was thinking it would be fun to do this as like you have to join the Patreon to be able to get the final part of the rewrite. But that seems a little bit mean.
Mm-hmm. No, I think we just go overarching.
Overarching, beats. Okay. Khovar. Let's do overarching. Leila leads Khovarian army against Brontes. Mm-hmm. Brontes, Khovarian, meets her on the field.
Literally. At the border, like once they get out of the mountains and they're somewhere remotely flat, and it's like it's in the farmlands of a town, and they're just going to decimate this town's farm and like agriculture.
Yes. She reveals right before battle for maximum impact. She reveals herself as savior. She reveals herself as savior. Does not expect it, but unexpected. But many Thessans throw down their arms, but the Khovarian, but Leila watches in horror as the Khovarians slaughter them anyway.
And this is so real quick. This is where Tobias sees this happening and he starts fighting the Khovarians, and Brontes captures him, and this is how he gets Tobias.
Ooh, okay, that could be good.
Because we have to establish why because in the frame story, Tobias is in the secret chamber, seeing all that other stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted a little bit more of him and Leila to split before he is in the frame story. A little bit more of him. There should be a moment where he's like, "Hey, I can't follow you anymore. This is what you're doing is wrong," and for there to be more of a confrontation there.
See, in my mind, this scene of them attacking happens 3/4 the way through. This is the 75% mark.
Yes, this is essentially chapter 7.
These are very long chapters, but yeah. So I guess that works. Okay, continue.
Yeah, no. This is pretty early on. Okay, so Um. Okay, overarching. Issa has real talk with Leila about being a ruler. Leila. I mean, to be honest, I think this should actually take more time. This kind of march to, Sherman's march to the sea should actually
Yeah.
take more time.
That's
So
that's
we'll,
what I'm saying. Like on the path to the battle, her and Tobias, as they get closer and closer to the
right.
battle, her and Tobias are getting more and more strained. Where he's like, "You still have time. We can undo this." And also, what do you plan to do about the fact that eventually the Kavarian Queen is going to find out you can't? So, like the entire march, because you can't shadow walk an entire army. The entire march towards Tobias should be learning more about the Kavarian warriors and getting worried about what this is going to mean. And so that by the time they actually get to this battle, the two of them, and there's a point in battle where he's riding next to her and he sees the Thessan soldiers throw down their arms and
Mm-hmm.
that the Kavarian's still attacking them, and he goes to defend them, and Layla's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I can't stay by your side if that means I have to watch Thessan." Like, they didn't know Layla. I'm not going to let them die just because they didn't know that you like the real situation. They didn't know the truth, and now they do.
Yeah, and I think it could be something where Layla expects that as they're going through, she's going to pick up supporters, but the supporters with the Kovarians, but that's not really the case. The Kovarians keep scaring away.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Layla expects supporters to rally to her, but they're all scared by the Kovarians plundering. This is, by the way, every pre. Okay, so not to be. Every pre-modern society army has to plunder the land around it as it goes. It actually can't stay still for very long because they'll run out of farmland to plunder, and then they'll all starve. So this is not even like a good army, bad army thing. All
This
armies
is just
eat.
armies.
Armies on the move eat up all of the food, and like if you're lucky, it's not a bad winter afterwards, and if you're not, you a bunch of your peasants starve. Okay, I actually think that this
Max,
is
the
the
Kavarian
split.
army is absolutely be careful what you wish for. That is like, and
Mm-hmm.
that should be the entire lesson of wanting to find a foreign army to solve your problems. Should be the be careful what you wish for.
This is a split between Leila and Tobias. Tobias, he can no longer follow her down this path.
Oh, this is
Um,
such a good point.
I think Tobias is captured,
Mm-hmm.
and this pushes Layla even farther, maybe. Farther. She doubles down on the Kovarian thing, and they march to the capital and take it. But
Ooh.
then she realizes, er, but at about that point, the queen realizes that she was lying about the making Khovar fertile thing, and the Kovarians like go wild, or and tries to install Layla as a vassal queen, maybe. So part of the thing is because we're just doing broad strokes, guys. These aren't going to be quite as good.
Yeah.
Um, uh, these aren't going to be quite as well thought out or make as much sense because I like to build it one brick at a time, and that's not quite happening here because we're just going through. So these are like about making. She was lying about
Yeah.
making.
This would be like the really
File.
broad initial outline of like a basic idea that you could then go back and flesh out.
Yeah, Layla. I think actually at this point too, what it should be is once Tobias is captured, it
Mm-hmm.
should be like Layla should not know what happens to him at all, and even like
Yes.
maybe his chapters peter out or something like that.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Layla gets out of Dodge yet again. Um, uh, Issa has a real talk with Layla about Rina. Decides to build a
Yeah.
popular movement. So actually, what we should do is that, technically speaking, this should be the end of book of the Savior's army. It ends with her like being Queen of Ashes with the Khovarian Queen next to her, and her and Tobias
Yeah.
apart. And then the next book is building up.
Exactly.
Oh, so we did it. We don't actually even have to go farther.
We don't. Ta-da!
Ta-da! Maybe we'll do book 6. Yeah, build a popular movement. I think at this point, because the thing is, it feels like to build a popular movement, this should be something where her and Tobias kind of reconcile.
Yes.
Uh,
Does she rescue Tobias in this book, or does he remain captured into the next book, or has Flynn and Cosima escaped and taken Tobias with them?
Well, do we want to make this 2 books, or do we want to try to put it as, well, maybe like this is the end of part 1, right?
Yes.
So this is
I mean, because this could be the end of Savior's army, and then the Savior's whatever could be, because again, this is such a better, number one, this is a much better use of the title, the Savior's army, because
yeah,
because it is this was never supposed to be her army. She like it's a much darker story, and I actually like the idea of, while she's reckoning with everything that has happened and seeing the havoc that she's wrought, Cosima, Flynn, and Raphael escape before the castle is sieged.
You're right.
And they take Tobias with them. So she gets to the castle expecting to find Tobias, who had been like captured previously, and they're gone.
Oh, that's good.
And that sets up of him being like, okay, and maybe they learn through the grapevine that the Khovarian queen is now taken over. Leila is kind of beholden to her and this situation, and they're like, oh god, we have to. And now we have like the Suicide Squad of Thesson being like, we need to save the Savior, and it's Cosima, Flynn, Raphael, and Tobias.
You know what? Here's the other thing. That could be a character moment for Tobias, because basically it's him going like, I could run back to Leila, but I think I can do more good here with these 3 people who, like, I don't like, but now they have a reason to help with the throne, even though she'll be depressed that I'm dead. This was a character choice on his part. Oh, that's so good.
And it further solidifies him being like, I need to do my own thing. I'm not like I love Leila and I want to be at her side, but not like at her side all the time as the sovereign. And like that whole thing.
So we have a 7-chapter book.
Leila is left with Delphi, and the leper knight. Like that's who she has at the end of this book.
Or even, I think this is probably about the point where the leper knight dies.
He dies in the battle. Oh my god.
He dies, and that's a moment that makes her go like, yeah, he dies. Leper Knight probably at the end of the book with all Thesson in ashes. Well, I'm doing such a good job as a lawyer, follower, and saver. Yeah, I mean that could be it. That could be it too. He could be like betrayed by the Khovarians. I mean, he's a tragic character. And I think in book 5, then we start with them apart, and Leila starts to do her popular movement thing after she's real talked to by Issa, but then her and Tobias meet after a little bit. Yeah. And part of it is we need to create it so that part of her character shift happens because her and Tobias, she starts thinking the way Tobias did or something like that. You know what I mean? He needs to have an impact on her arc to then be a good person. So maybe she thinks like, he's maybe gone, but what would he want? Or, oh, he's not dead. There's still hope. I still need to think about what he would want.
And it's the 2 of them also trying to get back to each other. It's kind of like that thing that happens after like a great tragedy where you end up separated and you're like, where is like the communication's a mess, getting messages a mess. She doesn't know where he is, so she can't get to him kind of thing. But they also had to escape because they were literally like, when an army's invading and you're just like in a foreign castle and they're like, and maybe Cosima, Flynn, and Raphael take Tobias as insurance where if they ever get stopped by the Khavarians, they can be like, look, we have the savior's boyfriend kind of thing, but also trying to work with him. Like, on one hand, insurance policy, on the other hand, like, let's do this. Because as we said for those of you that don't remember, in the first rewrite, we talked about having Flynn betray after like being styled as the Sovereign Point 2 by Brontes, betray Brontes to save Cosima's life. And Cosima doesn't necessarily, like, yet in this book return his romantic feelings, but he has gone from just seeing her as a woman to a genuine, like, person that he loves. And then Raphael and her have built up an intellectual friendship. So the three of them are kind of like this complex, like, tripod.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, okay, what are we doing? What are we thinking? Yeah, you have to work with people you don't love. So somebody has said that he dies saving her from the Khavarian Queen. Yes, and there should be some kind of a line where he's like, fuck you, I liked my other hand, or something like witty like that, where he's like, if I'd had my other hand, you would never have made it out alive, or like, she's like,
man.
She's like, how could you take this from me? And he's like, I took it the same way you took my hand. I don't know, something like that, where it's like a very like fuck you moment. I think would be really cool. His feminist slay. Okay, so basically we finished this video by cutting it halfway short. But
I love the shape.
No, the shape of it's great.
Excellent. That's so good. And
that's a good cliffhanger too.
Let me say, way better cliffhanger than what we got. But essentially putting us at the same endpoint of now what's what, but also reckoning with the idea that foreign armies are not good ideas.
Yeah, and it makes Leila more complicit in this violence that she talks about wanting to unleash. Like, again, at the end of a book, she has this whole thing where she's like, I'm tired of playing nice. I am the dark child or whatever, but that doesn't mean anything because she can't do anything bad. And I also like this because it's not like her turning into an evil person. It's just a bunch of decisions she made, and they weren't great ones sometimes.
And having to learn from it and understand, and, returning to Issa and them going like, you figured it out, and her being like, yeah, I fucking did.
And Issa could be like, Issa and the other prostitutes could be like the core of her new popular movement. Because that's like, ooh.
I've sacrificed my hand already for you. Why would my life be any ... And she doesn't get to finish the sentence.
Aww.
Oh,
that's nice.
Damn, Blue Jay 2206. Hot damn.
Yeah, that would be, again, I love how we made an entirely new guy who's way cooler than everybody else.
Depending on how much we...
Or girl, just depending, yeah. I mean, I think also there could be some kind of a thing where Enzo doesn't... He kind of turns against the Khovarians also. Yeah. Something like that happens where he kind of... I don't know how necessarily.
Also, he spent a lot of time traveling with them, so he's built up a genuine... Ideally, in the writing of this, he's built up a genuine friendship with them, and also... with Thesson itself, like he spent a lot of time, like in the entire process of traveling to Thesson, he spent a lot of time with them, and also realizing like, oh, these are like, maybe there are people that die that he genuinely knew, and stuff like that. So
yeah, I think that's true. What would we do with the witch hunter? I think he needs to get defeated at some point, right? Because narratively, the rule of threes.
I think he gets defeated during the battle. Like that's Brontes, like. Brontes and Leila are in weaker positions of power because of this battle, and the only person who walks away with more power is the Khavarian Queen.
Do we want to try to like have him do a heel turn in the next book where like now he's like, no, I don't know. I don't know what I would do with him because I feel like him just dying is a little boring.
Remember, he has Pippa.
Yeah, that was something we had planted that I'm not sure how we would play out.
Yeah, that would be something we might have to edit. But I mean, I don't mind the idea of him turning, maybe seeing how shitty Brontes is, but then we'd have to deal with him reckoning with the entire philosophy of his whole life and his job, which I think is a lot to deal with. So I'm also just okay with him like getting got, you know. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's the leper knight who kills him.
Oh yeah,
and that's how he dies. That's how the leper knight dies, defeating the witch and saving Leila's life.
But still, the thing about the hand. because that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's pretty good. Maybe someday, eventually, we would plot book whatever the next one, but I think for now, this is a good wrapping up point. Um, I think what's interesting is like this could actually make for a really interesting, politically interesting book with a
Oh,
very solid arc and a organic reason for the main couple to have problems.
yeah. And it's a much darker, like, for someone who wanted to write a dark romance, this is a much darker book than the one we got. Like the
Mm-hmm.
way we have plotted this and written this is a little grimdark, guys. Like this does not end
Mm-hmm.
happily. And it's a bit brutal in a lot of
Mm-hmm.
ways. So, and I honestly like that for the arc. Like I think within this book series, this is kind of what Moresi wanted as far as like tone, but unfortunately there's so much of the cock like and like
Her idea of grim dark is just
locker
is
room
locker room
cock
talk.
stuff and like the smugglers with their drug leaves. um and there's too much moments like that to really like sink into the seriousness of the situation. And
Mm-hmm.
but I think this overall, I think what we've done kind of honors the basis of the, because we've still got all the major, the only thing we've completely removed is Tragolia because we didn't fucking need Tragolia, but
Yeah, it's
we still have
pointless.
the overarching thing, but also like addressing the what about a popular movement, guys, and making it an actual character flaw, because the entire book, when you're reading
Mm-hmm.
it, you're sitting there going, Layla, why won't you do a popular movement with your people? But in this, we've made it a fundamental conflict of her being like, I shouldn't
Yes.
have to. Also, that's not going to work. I need an army. I need, like, she's so
Mm-hmm.
fixated on an idea that despite people telling her, like, hey, she's not engaging, and then realizing, oh, like, because that's how something where if there's a plot hole or a character is doing something
Yeah.
that's kind of dumb, if you build it into their it there's actually a really great example of this. Friendly Space Ninja just came out with his video on the latest season of Emily in Paris, and he talks about how previously he talked about how to fix Emily as a character because she was really shitty, and he said if you make her flaws part of her backstory and
Yeah.
this is why she is that way, it automatically can make them more likable and create a place of growth. And that's essentially what we've done. There was a complaint that we the readers had with Layla and how she was handling this, and we've just built it into the story.
Yeah, I think so, and it makes sense. And the thing is, it's an interesting flaw, and it's a relatable one, and it gets to some of the ideas about monarchy. I think the thing about it is that it's grim dark in the sense of like having to having to make difficult decisions, not murder people, which is what the original book was. A few things. One of them says, so Tobias takes out his eye so the witch hunter can't follow him, Cosima Flynn, as they escape. Yes, that I forgot. You're right.
Oh my god, I love it because he's
Yeah.
realized at that point, maybe during the battle, that it comes out or that he figured that
Mm-hmm.
out, and he removes it. And oh man, but also knowing that like when they see him, like because again, Layla's got a lot of trauma around a one-eyed guy.
Yeah. And that's not even a euphemism for a penis because we're not Moresi.
Oh god,
Uh,
I did not think that.
Somebody else had set up here. Oh. Oh man, I now need a detailed video on how y'all outline original stories because this was fun and so informative. This is exactly how I do it. I'll just jot down ideas, and put them out, and then
If you
I'll
haven't
tell.
watched our Savior's Champion and Savior Sisters videos, go do it. The rewrites for those are so good.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and mostly I then just tell Maria, hey, I have a story idea I want to pitch you, and I just tell her a bunch of stuff, and she's like, this and this would be interesting, and I'm like, yes, it would be. I
Yes.
thought of that. But honestly, if you want to plotline well, you need to have a friend to brainstorm with. Humans are social animals. For whatever reason, we function creatively much better in one other person than
Yep.
even anything else. I mean, I do think I'm not a fan of AI for writing, especially prose, but I do understand people who are like, it's good to bounce ideas off of because it is a pseudo human in that way. But I think another person like an AI could never replace Maria. You know what I mean? So try to find and look again. This is an unfair comparison because me and Maria are you're not going to find our like among just the normal rabble of humanity. I have the best co-writer with me here right now. And
Thank you.
but yeah, no, this is like one of my favorite things to do is plotline like this, and then just tell Maria ideas, and then
and then he never does anything. You have no idea how many good ideas Will has pitched me over the years. Like, I'm talking excellent ideas. There's this one where it's like a Greek myth, but on a like mechanic planet. Like, it is so good.
My Living Metal World.
Yeah, the Living Metal World, so excellent. There's also this one where it's like set in like a Russia-esque universe, and they're like these mech groups.
Writing Mech back. Me and I showed actually the first chapter of that I wrote with Katie on the channel a long time ago. You can see it under our writing playlist.
He has so many good ideas, and they just like I know them, and then if they go anywhere, you'll know.
Going back a little bit, it's like this is this took us like 2 hours to do. Writing a book would take a year at a minimum, and that's like devoting a lot of time. And also, I'm an insanely slow writer. I'm not a fast writer.
And then you have to edit and go through all the processes and everything like that. And
I try to brainstorm with my friends, but they often say my ideas are terrible, so I've lost confidence. No, fuck all of your friends with a rusty spoon in the dick hole. There are no bad ideas when you're brainstorming. No, there are absolutely no bad ideas when you're brainstorming. You want to create an environment of positivity and building new ideas off of them. There's no. Yeah, find better friends.
If you are engaging with someone and helping them brainstorm, then if they present something and you're like, maybe not that, then you take that kernel and you like evolve it. Like you go, maybe not that, but this. And then the other person goes, and then you if you watch this video, the one we did before, or the first Saviors, there's literal points where Will says something and then I'm like, wait, what if? And then suddenly we're like bouncing. So Will's completely correct. In a brainstorming capacity, there is no bad ideas. You build on them until you get something, and then the more you refine, that's when you maybe shave away bits that don't work and stuff like that.
And also, and the other thing is, if you do have a problem, somebody says, phrase it correctly. So sometimes I'll say, like, even here, you probably heard me say, I say, like, my hesitation with that is this or that. It's not, this is a bad idea. It's, okay, I'm thinking this could work, but what about this? What about that? At a certain point, I think, in this, even Maria was like, well, this isn't working for me. I think maybe we should try something different. Yeah. Or something like that.
Or with getting to Khovar too quick. And I was like, wait a minute. I think like character arc. What do you think? And then Will went, oh yeah. And like we were able to like process that together. Yeah.
Yeah. Iterate and build and okay. I think that's going to be it for now. If you guys like these rewrites, hit the like button when this becomes an actual video. The way this works is that this live stream will be available on our Discord for the next week, but it won't be on the channel, and then I'll release it as a video. I should have said this at the beginning, but I didn't. We're thinking of doing more rewrites like this. I had an idea for one that let me grab the thumbnail I made for it provisionally, and you guys can see.
Get ready, guys. I mentioned her earlier, but
yeah, but I thought this might be fun. That's right. Hard sci-fi rewrite of Ice Planet Barbarians. A la Children of Earth and hard sci-fi. I think that would be so funny to do. What were some other ones? Akatar, mostly because it's popular. I think we could redo the Dune movie, I think, and kind of work through some of our problems with both the movie and the book at the same time, because I do love the book, but I think it has a lot of issues. Different ones like that. So if you guys like that, I think we would definitely try to do them as live streams, because that seems to be just how people like doing these things.
I like doing it as a live stream as much as I enjoy.
We got some really good ideas from you guys.
Yeah, exactly. And the bounce again, the creative juices. I think people fail to understand how much creativity thrives in group settings and like the bouncing of ideas and building off things. When you write something or develop an idea, there's this idea of it being a solitary act. No, don't let it be solitary. Engage with people.
No. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. Maybe one day we'll do an original idea, or I'll pitch an idea to Maria or something like that. But yeah, if you guys would like to see this, the part of the problem is Maria is limited in how often she can record. So this would take away she would be on less reviews if we did this kind of a thing. So it is a little difficult in that respect. But we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. I'm willing to. And luckily, we have enough hosts now that I think that's a little bit more okay. Though I do love doing the book reviews. I've missed having something to listen to, so I've been reading other stuff in the background because I live off of having
ebooks or audiobooks.
Yeah, in the background while I do stuff. But it's actually funny talking about community and wanting that. I joined the area that I live in. Somebody was like, I'm thinking about starting a crafting club. And I saw it on Reddit and I was like, yeah, I'd love to join a crafting club. So like I got added to the list. They've met twice now. And both times they've met, I couldn't do it because I had recordings and
I'm
live
sorry.
streams. No, listen, the problem is she only announces it like a week in advance, and by then the schedule's already up. So like last week when we did the emojis one at 3, or at I think we did it at 1, but like the meeting was at 3:00.
Well,
and
I think part of the problem is that like if we could do them in the evenings, I know you have more time in that respect, but the thing is then like that's harder for people to actually get to, I think. Also says, why couldn't you do rewrites with Katie or Ellen? Yeah, I will. I mean, Katie also was really good at this. And Ellen, I haven't done it with her, but I'm sure she is.
I did one with Katie on Sword Heart that was really good. And then
I think you two and Val should do one on the third Encyclopedia of Fairies book because you guys were very displeased. So that was one where you guys could plot out something good. So yeah, we could do more stuff. I think that would be fun. And yeah, I think that could be fun. So if you guys want to see it, like this video, join our Patreon. We've had a ton of new patrons.
Tons. Thank you for joining, guys. Feeding the beast.
Yeah, if you have just recently joined and you're here or in the comments, let me know why you joined because I would like to keep you guys, and I'm not entirely sure why you liked it.
And if you recently joined, did you do the poll about? Okay.
Because I haven't thought of really exactly what it is that people might be joining for. So
yeah.
But anyway,
so tell us why you joined and
so
what you want out of the experience. Like
yes.
What would keep you hanging around, guys?
Okay. I think we love you all, our parasocial darlings.
Bye.